because I was thinking about the fact that I was asking myself, why would you have chosen podcasting? And what I liked about, even though I'm about as non-techie as they come, what I loved about the podcasting is it forces us to deconstruct composition. And so as I was doing the first podcast intro, I had to think through every element, because you were literally looking at it as colorful bars. And that broke down for me in my thinking. That's exactly what we're learning in the class. It's colorful bars of content. So it's good questions, and it's what distracts from it. It's all the things we're asking around podcasting. Because it's obvious you're not going to try and teach us how to podcast. You were teaching us how to assemble colorful bars. Where I really saw this was I was arguing with my 13-year-old about something, and I found myself thinking, what background noise is in my own conversation with him that's going to distract him from my main point? I know who my audience is. I know what my basic inquiry question is, and I couldn't believe I was doing that. And it worked, because I kept saying to Luke, this is what I want you to hear, and what I think your objections might be are this. And he was, it worked. I won. That's why I liked it.
Nice.
But then I realized I was doing it in other areas too. I used it in a psych paper I was writing. Even in a conversation, I think I mentioned this to you, a conversation I was having with some girlfriends. And I realized I was deconstructing the conversation in the same way that we were in composition. That fascinated me.
Can you say a little more about how you were deconstructing it?
Yes, it was so, I feel like I'm kind of busted because I was carrying on this whole inner conversation while they were talking, so I don't want to sound like I wasn't engaged with my friends, but I was thinking through, there were several elements that you had brought out. Okay, I've got to think exactly. The conversation was about blind spots. And one of the friends that I was talking to couldn't see something that we were discussing. And I realized, I bet part of the reason she can't see it is because of how I'm composing my conversation to her. And so I started thinking through, well, who's my audience? What am I wanting to say? And it sounds very clinical, but it was so real world, because this person that was sitting in front of me mattered so much to me, and the composition of my conversation meant whether or not I could connect to her or not. And we did. We had a connection over it. It took a while, but it was really this thinking process in me of, saying that would be superfluous. It won't help me reach my point. In the past, I probably would have approached the conversation more around, how can I create the best connection here? This time, I was composing what would help me reach the best connection. That was a switch for me. It wasn't just personality-driven or desire-driven to have that connection. It was actually intentional composition. What I've been observing in class is really every subject should be doing this, not just English. Because the ultimate goal of education, as I see it, right, is that we transfer what we're learning in the classroom to be catalytic for change in the real world. And if you have enabled us to deconstruct English in such a way that we can take those pieces and compose them in other areas of our life, then the concepts of how you're teaching this class should be transferable to other subjects as well.